Okay, good job. You are willing to ask for help and you're willing to take some advice. There's another problem. There is way too much advice out there for parents who have struggling teens. As I've discussed before, a lot of parents give me that quote, there's no handbook for parenting. And they think that there should be a handbook for parenting. Well, the fact is, if you Google it, there are over 214 million handbooks or books out there that are dedicated to helping parents raise their teens. When you read less than a fraction of these books, articles, and websites, there's a whole bunch of conflicting information, and it ranges from very complicated to oversimplified. Unfortunately, most of the information out there is based on opinions and focused on the promise of changing your child and your child's behavior. There are so many opinions and advices out there, not just from professionals, but from your neighbors, from your friends, from your own parents, other family members, coaches, teachers, pastors, and a lot more that I can't even think of right now, that you end up running amok trying to find the things and the opinions that make sense and work. I'm going to ask you to keep it simple starting now. That is not to say to take all of my advice and opinions. Try with me and anybody else to stick to what works. Get rid of what doesn't work, even if it should work, and stick to information that seems that it could be a message of building healthy relationships rather than magical tricks that hopefully work. When it comes to processing and talking to people about your parenting struggles, try to find somebody who's willing to just listen. It can be really daunting and kind of a negative experience to find people who are just giving you advice and telling you what you're doing wrong and telling you that they've got the answers. So find that person that is willing to listen, that may give some advice when you ask for it, but makes you feel, lightened when you talk to them. Now, be careful about choosing those people who seem to have it all together. I know that's tempting, but not just in social media, everywhere. People are putting their best foot forward, and sometimes people aren't vulnerable and honest about what is really going on in their parenting journey. A sign that it's time to stop hearing the chatter of other people's advice is that you feel like nothing is working, your self-esteem is taking a hit, and the advice that you're hearing is building some resentments in you. I hate to admit it, but as a therapist, even professionals are inconsistent and hypocritical at times. It can be really confusing going to different professionals. Even a subject as simple as boundaries gets explained in 1,000 different ways by different professionals. No matter who you're talking to, try to ask yourself, are they speaking about healthier relationships and giving me advice on things that I can control? Or is what they're telling me not seem to fit within things that I can control and things that I can actually work on? When somebody challenges you to take a look at what you can work on the inside, even if you're not wrong and even if you haven't done anything wrong necessarily, that is somebody who's pouring wisdom into you. That really opinionated advice and that advice that is offering quick fixes, definitive or guaranteed results is usually not very healthy. I'll be honest, in parenting, there are some things that appear to be quick and good, but usually those things in the long run don't help. They last for about 2 weeks, maybe 2 months, sometimes only a couple of hours. I'm talking about some of those punishments that parents like to try to rely on. They remember back when it worked for a moment, and even though they've tried over and over and over again, and they know that it's not working, they can't stop themselves from trying again. It's almost like a drug. They remember when it worked, so they gotta find that quick fix again. I challenge you to assess the effectiveness of your parenting strategies by asking yourself, how is this affecting my child and me? Is this actually getting the result that I'm seeking? Is this building my relationship? And am I getting what I want out of it? And then last, is this sustainable in the long run? There's one last important note that I want you to really think about. You cannot live a life of parenting wishing that you had the parenting role of somebody else for somebody else. It is not always the truth that you're seeing in another family. And even if it is, you don't know how they would do with your child. You just might be the perfect parent for your child, even though you're going through a difficult season. And a lot of these difficult seasons, honestly, they lead to some amazing seasons where you're just totally happy and proud of your child. So don't rob yourself by wishing for something that you don't have.